So yeah, without further ado, I think we can just start with the presentations, unless anyone has something to add. Sarah, Changfang. Good, great. Okay, so I'm just gonna go kind of down a list, and I think we have Martina from the Women's House in Morocco is here. Are you
Hello.
prepared to give a presentation? Hi,
Yeah,
Martina.
sure.
Great.
I'm presenting our project as a Terra ASBL, so an association based in Brussels. Our project is the Women's House of Imlul. I'm gonna give you, so yeah, I put the picture that you have on the website of AD, so that everyone probably can recognize it, because it's true that with such a long time, we haven't seen each other, and maybe things are not that familiar anymore. So the first thing is an information about the earthquake that struck Morocco recently. We're quite lucky with this, in the sense that, as you can see from the black arrow, we are within the area that is concerned by the earthquake, but luckily we didn't have any damage. So not like nobody in the village had a problem, and not even the buildings. So we were quite lucky with that. Then in the last months, a few updates. We carried on with some plaster tests for the finishes. We got new funds from the municipality where our ASBL is based, so Schaerbeek in Brussels. So we carried on with what we want to do as a next phase, which is, we didn't get a very big budget, but we are planning to work on the internal finishes of the communal room, which has already a roof over. It's a room that the women already use, but of course it doesn't have connection to electricity, and neither the finishes. So this is what we are planning to do next. It's always nice to receive pictures from site, the selfies of our site manager, Mohammed. Yeah, these are a bit dark, but it's always difficult to take pictures inside this communal room. But as you can see, it's nice that they use it, even if it's not finished. The building is already in use. We had some visits from students who came over to learn about the technique and the natural materials. And the women organized a tapestry workshop to teach the participants how to make carpets. And it's nice because we carried on a lot with architecture in this project, but what was a little bit missing was the business part of the game. And because for the women it's something new to organize a little business to carry on with things. So we really appreciated that together with the help of the men, they are starting their own business. They took the initiative. We can see also that the kitchen is in use. The kitchen is the only room that has been completely finished, also in the interiors, with the fixed furniture as well. There's connection to electricity, to water. And when when the women have these events and people come over for visiting the building, there is usually also included a meal, which is really nice. Unfortunately, still we had to face some challenges, because we realized in recent months that the climate change is really affecting this region a lot. And we experienced some heavy rains, which come after long periods of droughts. So some months ago, there was a super heavy rain, which destroyed a lot of houses. Well, damaged a lot of roofs, because most of the villages are anyway made by the people. Like, the buildings of the village are made by the people, and sometimes they don't maintain the roofs all the time. They don't have even the means to kind of keep them in shape. And anyway, they were not prepared for such a big storm. So we got informed by this, and a solution to resolve some problems that were, even if we didn't have any leakage and the rooms were dry. We decided to build a reinforcement wall in the courtyard that is at the entrance, and this was also an opportunity because it created an extra level of privacy, which is appreciated by the women. You can see also that our site manager was proposing some different variations of this construction with the arches. And it was also an opportunity to fit the toilet within the building. And this is something we discussed with the ambassadors of AD, because there was this problem of where to put the toilet if we could manage to integrate it into the building. So for once, this challenge turned into an opportunity. And even if the layout was different, then we kind of found a way to make it better. It's also funny that, of course, we had to communicate remotely. And when we were requesting some squared holes in the wall, we got some rounded one because the workers decided that this was nicer, which I actually agree on this. But yeah, it's funny how sometimes the communication gets a bit tangled. And we also had some fun. I mean, thinking about all the things that happened in the last months, the online communication where we realized that our site manager managed to make an arch, which is something that we teach them how to do. And he really loved it. He managed to make it without having a proper wood support, but he made it with earth, and he made it work. And so in the end, we had even a nicer entrance for the toilets. Then we have all this list of doors that the community donated for the project. So now I'm wondering how many toilets are there, because the smaller ones are probably toilet door. So half of the village is now basically without a door for the toilet, but we've got plenty. And they also donated a toilet for us. We got also invited, this is quite recent, we got invited to, together with our partner Studio 2111, to Festa della Terra in Italy. And we had the opportunity to present the project, and we got a lot of success. Everyone was really happy to see that we are busy in Morocco with such a project. So it's nice that also it gets the recognition, and after a lot of work, that it's also appreciated. I say abroad, even if I'm Italian, but it feels like it's abroad now. And then I wanted also to thank the people who got involved in this and helped us out through these months. And first of all, a special thank to Valentina, who is the one who actually contacted us on Instagram at first and said that she believed that our project was good, and followed all the qualities to be part of this program. And then we were happy to receive the funds, 2,500 euro from PNZ company, and we really appreciated that. And then all the other people, Lamie, Carla, Chiara, Sarah, Jan, and Belen, who organized a call, and they were really helpful in a lot of different topics. They tried to help us. They supported us with documentation on how to build toilets, on how to create an association in Morocco. So really, I think this is already part probably of the next chapter. This is, I think, the best part of your program, guys. Having the people coming to you and really believing in your project and sharing their knowledge. So thank you very much for that. I want to close on a note that is a little less happy, let's say. Our partner Perma Atlas, who is based, funded by Latifa Oumil, who is half Moroccan, half Dutch. was hit by this village where Latifa is from was hit by the earthquake quite badly, even if it's not that far from us. So we are now together with our other partners organizing, getting organized to help them for the reconstruction. And this is also part of our next phase. It's like a side project from the Women's Center. And that's all from our side. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing, Martina. That was really beautiful to hear how the team has come together to support you. Yeah, thank you for sharing. And I think we'll move on to the next presenter, which is there someone from Condition Lab here who's able to share their screen?
Yeah, hello everyone. We're Condition Lab. We're actually not in the same place, so we're around the world. I'm calling in from California, but we first of all would like to thank to everyone for being part of this program, and then just go through. And I think Millie and I will just sort of DJ at the same time. Millie, go. You do the next one here.
Yeah. So
just to tell you that the project that we sort of started with was this idea of the book house, and really it's kind of what we've been trying to do for several years is to get this idea in rural areas to introduce a third place. It's not a house and it's not a school, but it's a sort of library, but not a library that is in the conventional sense, but a place where the children can learn by playing. And the ambition that we had and that we tried to sort of work with you is this idea that we sort of built one or two, and how could we scale this up to sort of really try and help more people in rural communities, ideally in around the world. So we started off in China, in Hunan, with Dong minorities, and then we tried to scale up primarily because of the pandemic, that it was very difficult for us to go back to Hunan and have this idea that how could we scale it from maybe 2 to 100. Yeah. And so this is, I mean, quite an abstract picture, but this is a picture of the valley in Hunan. And you see it's a beautiful valley, and all the Dong minority villages are centered across and along the river. So you can see their architecture. I think we've shown you this before, but it's an architecture that has developed over centuries, related to topography, related to the land, related to how everything is built in a single sustainable material, which is timber. And the problem that villages face at the moment with what is called village hollowing, where basically all the people that are working age leave, and what happens is that you have a very strange demographic that is left over, where the children are being looked after by their grandparents. And we try to work exclusively with local carpenters and local builders, and so any money that we find is then goes into an ecosystem where the money goes back to the villages, and then the villages also build something, but then get a certain amount of money to sort of survive. Millie, you take this one.
So that's why we started with the first book house, which is called Gabo Book House. I think we completed in 2018. So we actually follow the same formula, working with the local carpenters in local materials, and then work for the local children in the village. So we built the first one with purely in timber. The only new material we added in is the polycarbonate for the facade, to add in some new elements with the traditional design. So the children can come in the morning before class, or even during the class, they have the reading class, and then after school, spending the time here. And then after that, we got a chance to expand our projects in Pingtan Village, which is a village that with 10 minutes driving distance. So still the same formula, we built with purely timber for the children in the school. And that's where we submitted for this AD scheme. And here we expand our book house project, which we have mentioned before that this is an ongoing project, which is actually never ends. So we expand into 2 other villages also in Hunan province and one in Guangxi province. So the first one after the expansion is Malong Book House. This project is now currently in the design process. So this is the idea we have, is a purely timber built house, but then we input a path into the house, and which the path is leading the children from their school to a farmland which they grow the tea leaves, which is actually a rich culture heritage from the minority. So this is how we designed with the traditional house structure, and then input some new elements such as the bookshelves and also the facades. And then the other one we extend is the Baozheng Book House. This is in another province from what we have built before. This is the Guangxi province. So this is also in the design process. It's a smaller one, but it's combining a concrete structure with the timber structure. This is actually a new trend in these villages, because they need to build in concrete for the toilets and the bathrooms, so that this is like a new design elements in the village. And then after this, we have also another expansion that's going far from China. Peter, you want to explain?
Yes, and I think this is part of a sort of a whole series of things that happened after we won your award, that we got more recognition, and we sort of started talking to people. And one of the things that we were invited to present our projects at the UN, and through these collaborations we met other NGOs, and we started 2 projects, one in Kibera, which is an informal settlement in Nairobi, and one in a Maasai tribe in the south of Kenya. And so again, the whole process, and it's very important for us that we speculate about any project, that we go there and we understand how the children work and what they need. And then we found something very beautiful, is that the whole Maasai tribe have an architecture which is very organic and non-hierarchical. And then when we were there, we did these drawings with local children, and we found out that, you know, they most of their schools are kind of square, and square and rectangular and perpendicular walls are kind of contrary to their culture. So we tried to see if we could set up something similar, a book house that was organic and that responded to their villages. And so we were there for quite a long time, and we got inspired also by the heritage that they have. These are bracelets made by the Maasai women, and we thought this could be literally, as a metaphor, translated into a building. And so then we studied it, and we went back to Hong Kong. The students started to design proposals together with our research assistants and with us. And then we made this mock-up that we're very happy to say that we've got some funding. Won't pay for it all yet, but we're starting on this idea of a place where at the bottom it could be a performance space, and then the library happens above. And then just very quickly, the project that we started in Kibera in collaboration with another NGO called KDI. And again, just trying to, the whole process of working together with other teams. And I think this is also interesting, something that we haven't got a project to show, but we also, through your scheme, got in contact with the Aga Khan Foundation, and they're trying to see if the proposal could be extended to areas of Pakistan and Syria. Millie.
Yeah, that's what we want to wrap up.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for sharing. That's so exciting that you're expanding beyond China.
This is the building that we already built, and this is already the program mentored by AD. This is already built, and it's already used for the. But I want to explain also about the context first. This is the village of the Bulawar village, the image for bamboo, and also the history for the salt bearers, and the ground zero for the Christianity for Caronese. This is the landscape of the village. It's surrounded by the forest, tropical forest, but the deforestation and the burning also happen, and it's also caused a landslide, big landslide to the village. This is the strength of the village, regular visitors for the church, because the church is the ground zero for the Christianity. That's why it's already visited for many visitors here. This is the disaster, big landslide at the size of the football size. This caused for the cutoff of the road to the side, and this caused many problems to us at the first beginning of the construction. And we built the hall, the multi-function hall, as a trigger to show to the people that the bamboo is suitable and also strong material, resilient material for the construction, but not for the it's not the burning also will cause the landslide for the village. The lesson learned about this program with AD, according to the accelerator workshop, we encouraged by the Healthy Foundation and also from the World Bamboo to show that bamboo will show the landmark character. It's a strategic way to change perception about the bamboo. Bamboo is not considered for the poor man's timber, but it's strong and resilient building materials. And also the hall is used for the cultural education and for the children activities. According to the Julian Barr speaker, we have to set the time frame, exact time frame to the stakeholders. That's why we start to make the time frame really clear for the 5 years, 10 years, and also to 15 years to 20 years. And the outcome is like this. The building is already used as the collaboration symbol, children's center, culture center, education center, circular economy, and tourism destination. This is all the stakeholders that already support our projects: Healthy Foundation, World Bamboo, Julian Barr, and also from several architectural campus, and also from the district regency that already donated us some funds. And also I will tell about our nomination for the World Architecture Festival later. The donation money that we receive from the Healthy Foundation and also World Bamboo will be used for the toilet construction that we will build until to start from October, next October. We plan about the design. We changed so many different points of the toilets. That's why we need more time for the construction. But we will start at the beginning of October. And also from the AD Accelerator Coordinator with Anna Asensio, we received many advices regarding of the craftsman training with the local people. That's why we also visited Bali, and also we have so many invitation from the private sectors that we have to exhibit our handicraft for next October too. That's why we will go to Jakarta, to our capital, that we will present our products there. And also Anna suggests us to also involved in the World Bamboo Congress. That's why we already sent our call to paper, and we already received the invitation to come to Taiwan for next April. And also we went to Bali to attend the Bamboo training, and also we heard about the podcast training from Julian Base Bahay and also the Bamboo U regarding of the bamboo village and also the observation for the bamboo materials. This make us so strong. Our bamboo, for the bamboo program will be strengthened in the future. And also from the bamboo from Susan Lucas, we also received the message that we have to focus on the human and also the training, not for the construction only. That's why we make a lot of trainings with the local people, harvesting and treatment, construction process and completion, and tourism, and also bamboo ecoforestry for the later program. The impact, we received many visit from the architectural classes and also from the campus. We received many donation with the visitors that we have to maintain the bamboo hall for the next maintenance. You see, we do a lot of training for the local people regarding to the Susan Lucas advice, so that we will preserve the tropical forest and avoid more landslide in the future. How the project affected by the AD program? According to the numbers of the visitors, we receive increasing numbers of the visitors, around 10 to 20%, that we will receive 10,000 visitors at the end of this year. And we received funds from the district regency to build the cafe and the villa. And also they built the road construction at the landslide site. This will keep the visitors to get the village more easily. And lastly, we already received the nomination for the World Architecture Festival. We will present our project for the next November. Thank you, AD. This is the final slide of my presentation.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, it's exciting to see the exposure that your project has gotten, and we're so thrilled for you. So thank you for the update. Also, I did Bamboo U in March. We're both alumni, so Bamboo team. Maybe we can move to the next. Is Paula here from Peru, from the Peru project? Are you able to present?
Yes, hello.
Good morning.
Oh,
here.
great. Yeah, great. Good to see you both. Feel free to take the floor for the next presentation.
Yeah, just to remember, the project it's called Barrios que Cuidan. It's in Lima, Peru, and the idea was to during the COVID pandemic, the women start to organize again in these common pots where they cook for the community. So the project was proposed to provide them with a space to pass from an emergency response to a long-term proposal. So transform from a common pot to a productive kitchen where they can learn training trades, generate incomes, and have a permanent space in their neighborhoods. So the aim of the project was to pass from this precarious and temporary building to this project of two floors with with a kitchen, a space for tables, for meetings, and a second floor for doing workshops and maybe a small library. So actually a building for the community. And this was the proposed stages to the project. We're still in the stage one, looking for funds to start building the first floor. And actually, we have some updates, not much in the physical or economical support for the project, but actually logistic part. We want to thank very especially to Jorge Ludeña, the architect from Ecuador. He's our advisor in this project, and with him we had monthly meetings with Jorge that give us advice, arrange meetings. Actually, he gave us the opportunity to have a student from his university to do her professional pre-internship with us. And we're working in a website for the project to start replicating and communicating more the project. With the College of Architects of Peru, for example, we've been working in Valora Nuestro Barrio program, where they try to connect the projects with construction companies, so they maybe we can get some material from them. This year also we've meeting with the municipality of Independencia, where the project is located, because it's a new management in this year. And the other thing that we have made with the project is actually connect the community with a lot of NGOs and organizations that are starting to help them in providing more food or more advisors in managing the money they earn. And for example, there's the Olla Sostenibles NGO. It's an association that works with the Common Pot in training and establishing vegetable gardens, grey water treatments, and all the sustainability of the Common Pot. And we also have meetings with Techo, an organization with David Sanchez and Mariana Montag and Mariana Valvanera, and they were advising us on how to promote more the project, how to expand the idea of the project to a lot of people. And not because in one part we were thinking about doing a pre-stage of the ones with a smaller design, but after talking with them, we decided to keep aiming for the full stage one. We also been able to apply to some fundings for research in Common Pots that may help us to visualize more the work that women are doing in the neighborhoods of Lima. And actually, it's been months of trying to connect and to get more fundings. It's been hard to get the fundings, but we think in these months of meeting new people, visualizing more the project, we hope maybe this last months of the year and maybe the start of next year we can actually start doing the physical changes of the space. And that's, I think, for all from us until right now.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. It's great to hear how much evolving the design has really helped the project. And I think I just want to check, is Bob Marana from the Puerto Rico project, are you here today?
We don't have a presentation, but
Okay.
we can definitely give you a heads up where we are right now.
Yeah, if you want to just take a couple minutes to just share update, then feel free.
Yeah, sure. It's a pleasure to be here and just to listen all the beautiful works around the world. Solidarity to the projects in Morocco. Well, the fishing village, it's going wide strong. We have been able to install I don't know the name, a container in order for the fishermen to be able to sell fish. We have seen declining in the fishermen that used this fish before, so that has been kind of sad. But we have working to yeah, to give them the space to just sell the fish, because if they are like fishing and not selling the fish, that definitely it's a decrease on that. So yeah, we are focusing on efforts on just getting ready this container so they have the water, they have the fridge. And yeah, on the other hand, we have been working with permits and politics since this is a really touristic beach in Puerto Rico. So tourism is preying on the beach and just displacing the fishermen. So we have been really working the politics part of the project. So we have been really slow on design. Paco is also here with me, so I don't know if he wants to share something else.
Yeah, this food container is maybe the first progress in 5 years for the fishermen. So so this is really a good news that was installed like 2 weeks ago, and now we're gonna make some improvements for it to work. There's another another container, like an old container that they had, and we're gonna improve that also. So they're gonna have like a place to store fish and sell fresh fish, and the food container will be a place for them to sell food and food prepared for fish prepared food. And so there are going to be these two containers. This was our aim for the urgent aspect. Like we're working on this like short-term project to make sure the fishermen have their place to work and they feel. And as Cynthia was saying, also bring fishermen back into the fishing village that they probably are leaving because there's nothing there for them to work. There's no structure. So on the other side, on the long term, we're still working on the design and all the legal process and also the funding process for them to have a full fishing village. That's going to be like a big project. And we know that this is also all the meetings we're having with specialists, with engineers, and also on the other side with all the political aspect, like agricultural department, the fishing directors, natural resources of Puerto Rico, because they also have a saying on the idea of building in the beach. So we are making progress on that side, and we're still working on how to make an accurate design that works and works like the adaptation needs for any eventuality, any hurricanes or storm surges, high winds. So we are still making tests on what's the accurate design to have a fishing village that floats with water, that stands, or maybe some parts can be dismantled or even collapse. No, if we find that different parts of the building, maybe they don't need to be as secure and as protected as others, so we can design something that will work a little bit better with all the needs or on all the requirements that emergencies we may have. So we are working on that, and the good thing is that we have a couple of specialists that are really like that have the knowledge, have all the a lot of like saying that will help us provide like a better project for them to get the funding and also to get the political approvals.
Gracias, Paco. I just wanted to add, I just put a couple of pictures of the container that we were talking about in the chat, so you can take a look. It's really pretty. The design was made in collaboration with a fisherman, and so you can take a look at it. And I just wanted to add that we also in this process won a grant with the AYA, and for the investigation process that Paco was talking about. So we're working with coastal engineers and working with mechanical engineers in order to, because we are visualizing this project not only as a fishing village, also but the reconstruction of the beach. We cannot talk about a fishing village building just alone in a beach that's suffering from erosion, storm surge, and all this associated risk to climate change. So we are just going strong into that investigation with professionals that can model what we are thinking with the fishermen.
Thank you so much. Yeah, wow, that's really inspiring. And I love that you've collaborated with the fishermen to design. So yeah, we can't wait to see how that goes. And I think we have one more who's prepared to present today. Nicholas from Kuna. Are you ready now to present?
I actually just want to jump in that it's been really, really inspiring to see all your presentations. Bravo, really. So I really hope Nicholas can make it with his presentation. As Carly already mentioned, then we will take a break and then we will enter another session to reflect on the past year. And then end of the session, we can also anticipate the new activities and programs that we are going to carry out together with you.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, just sharing my screen. So, just to give everyone an update on our project, the project Cuna comes from the Mayan Yucatec House of Nature, and it's a social housing program we started in Nicaragua in 2020. Nicaragua is the country in Latin America with the highest housing deficit. Out of 9 million people in the country, there's over 1 million who don't have a house, and even larger amount of people who have inadequate housing, such as the photos that you see. Closing the housing deficit in a country in Latin America would require over 300 billion of annual public funding dedicated to housing programs per year, and that would have to go on for almost a century. We know those numbers aren't feasible. We know there's 60 million people living in sort of extreme poverty, and we tried to do something about this in Nicaragua. In Nicaragua, we have an NGO called Casa Congo, which is a sustainability hub where we run different activities and projects with the local community in partnership with international volunteers and experts. And a year and a half ago, I'd say, we built 21 bamboo homes, which look like the ones on the left in the photo. The beneficiary families were selected based on the income levels and their sort of social context. So we chose the poorest families of the village of El Astillero, and we didn't just build the houses, we also set up the whole supply chain, trained over 70 carpenters and farmers on bamboo planting, harvesting, treating, processing, and we created a very simple prefabricated technique which uses a combination of bamboo and adobe. The adobe has around a 4 to 5% cement base in it, and it was a very cost-effective solution because the bamboo is treated just in natural salt water. In Nicaragua, there's a lot of they call them salinas, which are areas where the tide comes in and natural pools are created to extract salt. So we're able to cure bamboo in these tide-based pools, which was very cost-effective and enabled us to reach this solution, which you see, which costs $10,000 per house, unfurnished, but it includes a bathroom and electricity. So we built 21 of these, and the biggest achievement we achieved was actually the whole supply chain we set up, including things like getting bamboo certified in the Nicaraguan building code. The funding we received was half private, half public. Private, I'd say, from a series of NGOs and foundations, a crowdfunding campaign we did, but a lot of the funding was public, and the Ministry of Housing in Nicaragua won't fund your project unless it's built according to the local building code. So we had to do a lot of work to get bamboo certified according to the Nicaraguan standards. And it was a performance-based certification where we demonstrated structural engineering tests where bamboo, in our case, guadua bamboo, was compared to other forms of timber and softwood, which typically get used in Nicaragua. We're now looking to scale this program thanks to the exposure we got from architecture and development and being part of this competition. We raised sort of a modest donation from Era Contour, which is a Dutch developer, and we were then able to raise additional funding from an Italian foundation. But what we're really looking to do next year is two things. First, build a better workshop. These first 21 homes were built out of a very, very rustic prefabrication facility, which needs improvement. And we also want to set up more, let's say, structured and professional approach to our bamboo harvesting, because the bamboo we harvested came from 6 hectares of forests, but they weren't an organized or managed bamboo forest. It was just, you know, smallholder farmers and us collaborating to find bamboo in the hills of Chontales, which is an area of Nicaragua which is rich in bamboo. So we now want to establish what we're calling a bamboo forestry hub, where we're going to give employment opportunities to over 100 farmers and guarantee a steady supply of materials to the program. This is just an image, so you can see what we're looking at. The barrio is called Tapalguas. It's in a very, very poor area of Nicaragua, which is full of gold mines, which are run by mostly Japanese and Chinese companies, which are extracting a lot of natural resource from this part of Nicaragua. And because gold mines are the only sort of job you can get in the area of Chontales, the people working in gold mines are also exploited. They earn, you know, less than $80 a month to be working in a gold mine. And a lot of the areas are deforested and not used to the max of their productive yield. So our idea is to reforest all of these abandoned patches in between different smallholder farmers with bamboo to generate a bamboo-based economy for this part of Nicaragua, which can then supply the raw materials we need to build housing along the Pacific coast to keep scaling the program. I wanted to show you something fun as a final thing. I'll go back to this slide. We used part of the funding which came in through an interesting art grant. I'd say it wasn't exactly what we were expecting, but we had the opportunity to collaborate with a street artist to give a personalized touch to the 21 homes. We've now completely finished the construction of these homes. The families are happy. So we're really focusing on now doing stage 2, because there's still, just in El Astillero, which is our village, there's still 300 families that are homeless. And so our vision is to build the infrastructure in terms of the bamboo farm and the workshop to be able to give the community better tools and skills to just keep building their homes autonomously. But this artwork initiative is a very fun touch that I thought I'd share with you. While I load up this video, which is quite interesting, I wanted to give a big thanks to Marta Petteni and you know, the Valentina Riverso and the wider architecture and development team, because we're now working on a playbook which is going to outline, I'd say, a very detailed manual that outlines how to build one of these bamboo houses from farm all the way to wall. We want to print lots of copies of this book and hand it out to the community perhaps this Christmas. So you know, we realized that a lot of what we did was done quite organically. Yes, we did have floor plans, we did train people, but for example, out of the 12 carpenters that we trained, 4 have now left the village already because they've gone on to do other things. So we want to make sure that we can preserve the architectural and technical knowledge required to keep building homes. So that's why we're now going to develop this playbook or bamboo manual, which we then also love to share outside of Nicaragua. And this manual, coupled with the other things I mentioned, the bamboo farm and the workshop, are going to allow us to give the program continuity. So now I've got my computer to work again. I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you, I'd say, the fun and really engaging part of the project. It's a quick video. Can you see my screen?
Pienso que el arte es algo que mueve a la gente. Ya fue como que fueron conociendo a la gente, la historia que tenían, una historia súper fuerte. Y ya era como más íntimo, cada uno presentarlo como en una imagen y hacerlo en la pared, en la parte de afuera o adentro. Y pienso de que entregárselo a la familia todos los días, al finalizarlo, se ve satisfactorio para uno, como artista en esto.
So this was an initiative we started with a local street artist. Actually, a Spanish-based art gallery approached us and wanted to make a donation to the project, but they wanted it to be something that related to the art world, and because that's what they believe in as a gallery. And we came up with this idea because we realized that a lot of tourists in the area of Tola, which is where Astillero is, like the idea of touring the bamboo homes. Everyone comes to this area and they're curious to see the homes. So by deploying these murals, which add a unique touch to each house, and they gave the opportunity to the kids of each family to have something that they really liked. A lot of the murals, for example, are paintings of a brother and a little sister on the beach looking at mermaids, or riding a turtle into the sunset. It's obviously it's all children inspired murals, but they've started creating tourism and, let's say, rural art tours in Nicaragua. People come see the art, they come see the homes, and it gives the families an opportunity to also make some extra income. Some of the moms have now set up their little ceviche corner in the kitchen, and people come by and they eat something. So it's been something interesting, playful, but that's also adding tangible value to the community. So yeah, but we've now wrapped up these first 21 homes and we're ready to do more. And yeah, thanks to Architectural Development and everyone for supporting on the journey.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you sharing that. Yeah, so inspiring. All of these projects were, just awesome and so good to hear such growth. But I'm really looking forward to shifting into a moment of reflection, because I think we all see a lot of themes developing here between some of the takeaways. So we'll go into like a very quick break.
It always takes time to warm up. So I'm gonna immediately invite somebody to feedback because Nicholas has actually already shared some very interesting feedback with me along the way. During the accelerator, Nicholas, do you remember the developing the 3 tracks for the next accelerator for different stages of project? Do you remember our conversation on that? Do you want to share your thoughts on that again with everybody?
Hey, Changfeng. I believe we had that conversation in when was it? In June, but I've honestly had an extremely busy period in the last month. So if you could help refresh my mind on the points, I will probably remember the conversation.
Okay, that was after the Q&A sessions. So we organized a few Q&A sessions with experts. And you notice that actually we are all aware of that the diversity of our projects is huge, right? And projects are at different stages of development. Some of them are more advanced with funding. They have realized some physical structures, and some of you are a little bit at the early stage of development, trying to figuring out the business model, for example, for your project, or to figure out the funding models for your project, different funding opportunities. So at that moment, we exchange our ideas that it might be beneficial for our participants if we have, you know, for example, 3 different stages.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that conversation very well now. Yeah, sorry, I wasn't clear on what you meant with 3 tracks, but I completely remember the conversation. Yeah, I mean, one of the bits of feedback I can give is that, I mean, all our projects are very exciting and inspiring, but they're at different stages. When you look at what Frankie's doing, it's already a complete architectural project, and now he's looking at a master plan to scale it. When you look at Varios que Cuidan, they're still very much in sort of the community engagement and ground up part of it. The project in Morocco as well, very interesting, but you know, still under construction. So I mean, I think it'd be beneficial if we could do this again, or go back in time to actually create groups, because then within the groups there's different needs, different also scales of funding that we're looking to access, and different levels of expertise. For example, I might need less help in defining a business plan, but more help in giving the project exposure for publication reasons or PR reasons, or looking at how to replicate it. While someone else may have other needs. Frankie perhaps needed, you know, more help on the bamboo forestry training, or getting more architectural awards because the building looks awesome. So I think everyone has different needs, and maybe creating groups. My second bit of feedback, Changfang, if I can jump in, is it was very good to meet with companies like Hilti Foundation, Julius Baer, Rambo Foundation. But honestly, I was expecting that they'd put in some money towards our projects. And sorry for being so maybe direct and vocal about this, but when you look at the Hilti Foundation, $30 million a year, Rambo Foundation, $8 million a year, Julius Baer Foundation, I think 25 plus. I mean, it was great to hear from them, but I almost felt like we were late to the party. Like, wasn't there a way to, as part of this process of winning or being in the finals of architecture and development, getting some kind of early access to a special grant with these foundations, or, you know, some kind of access to their funding portfolio? Because yeah, it was great to hear from them, but then like every meeting I left, I was like, I wish I'd spoken to them 6 months ago. And yeah, so those are my 2 bits of feedback.
Carly, before you start, I want to kind of get back to Nicholas on this point, because this point is a discussion that we face every time, you know, with our Global Challenge participants. We've been running this for the past 2 years. So in fact, to really increase our access to the corporate funding, personally, I feel we still need some time. I got also different advices, and there are 2 I want to share. So the first one is that when you approach foundations or companies, if you first ask for their expertise and build a good relationship with them, then there will be more possibilities to ask for funding in a later stage. It's very hard to immediately, if they don't know you, immediately ask for money. It's always hard unless they have an application process. So then it's just, you have to go through the formal process. So our relationship with Hilti started really like that. We didn't ask for money. And somehow we develop good relationships and understandings and trust. So now, even though we are still very, very modest in asking for funding, sorry for this. And I was saying that the second advice is what I learned also, that I think, Nicholas, you know that very well. You need to have a network of potential funders. So if you don't build that network, you have to start from scratch. It's just very, very, I would say, not only challenging, but it takes a lot of time. And I think that's the second point I want to share. And I'm glad to see a raising hand. Jan, please.
Yeah, so I can completely understand, Nicholas. I'm also very often frustrated. I think there is an absolute disconnection between, let's say, Hilti Foundation. I'm working sometimes with Cotton On Foundation. That's an Australian organization. They have similar budget, 30 million Aussie dollars, and there is, with these big foundations, I don't think they really take these small projects seriously. I mean, I run projects size-wise between sometimes even under $10,000, right? I mean, similar to you, Nicholas, $10,000, $15,000. I mean, I see, my wife is working in that field as well, and there is an organization that she's managing, which is actually connecting these big organizations with big money, like banks and like really commercial organizations with small grassroots organizations. So they are sitting in between that. I think it's very, very difficult for us, Chanfang, to approach someone like Hilti Foundation, right? And really, as you said, get on very good terms with them. It's a long, long process. I'm tired of doing that and investing time in doing that. It's just, in the end, is what we need. We need $5,000, $7,000, $10,000 to build a house. We're not asking for a lot, and with their budget, they should be easily able to do that. But the process of getting that money is sometimes so ridiculous, I could say. Sorry, I'm German. I'm also very direct in those things. It's really annoying. What I could recommend, what we did is we founded our own charity. We founded our own foundation. It's sometimes a long process as well, right? I mean, it took us in Germany, it takes a long time. It took us about a year, but with that, we are able to apply for public funding, right? We don't have to go through, I mean, we did, for our school that we built in Uganda, we did 2 GoFundMe campaigns. They both took like 4 months. I think I shared it with Chanfang as well. And it's tedious, and it's painful to ask friends who already donated $100 if they could give $100 again, right? So I think during that process, I also lost a lot of friends, which might not have been my best friends anyways, but it's just, we don't have to do that anymore, right? We can now really go and apply for public funding and go for, government fundings. There is a lot of government fundings available in Europe for sure. I don't know about other countries per se, if it's that easy. For sure, also in the US, but maybe that's the way forward for you guys, to just take the program that you have and move it into a charity, into a foundation, whatever works for you in your country. And I think that is, for us, definitely the way forward.
Thanks for the feedback.
Yeah, that was great. I think Cynthia has a question or a hand raised. Go ahead, Cynthia.
Yes, maybe it's just a suggestion, because I feel the same sometimes talking to these big nonprofits that in the moment don't have requests for funding or requests for proposals and all that. So maybe what gathered my attention from this competition is the global outreach, and maybe some of the ideas that comes to mind is that you could have those meetings for us, or someone from AD, or having that more active role in trying to sell our projects instead of selling them ourselves, because we have to be on the street working, designing, talking, having this conversation. And specifically this project for us has been very time consuming and funds consuming because we don't have the expertise to deal with politics, but with that legal expertise, but we know we have to invest on that in order to the project to move. So if we have like global partners sharing our project and moving our projects, having this conversation that are so time consuming, maybe that would help a lot. I just wanted to add that.
Yeah, that's good. I think Peter, you have your hand up. You want to share?
Yeah, thank you. I'll just lower it now. I just wanted to pick on something that I wonder if we could discuss about, leading also to proposals for the future. What I think is really interesting is the cross-section and diversity of the projects that we saw today. And in each one, when I'm hearing them, and also in the past, I was always wondering how Condition Lab could collaborate with other projects. And I'm just wondering, and I see a lot of the virtues of meeting virtually, but I'm wondering if there could be some kind of workshop, because I think we could learn from people and people could learn from us. And if we could meet in a physical place and have some form of workshop, actually we don't need a lot of money in terms of investors, that we could actually find that we could donate our expertise, we could work pro bono, we could get people who are funding us to fund other projects. And I'm especially interested in like projects like the Barrios que Cuidan. I think that there's a lot of knowledge and even potential donors that we could connect with. And I'm just wondering if going forward, a physical meeting, I know it's expensive, I know there's carbon footprints, but the fact that people can connect and maybe and have potential sort of workshops where we could brainstorm. I think what we have collectively is incredible innovation, incredible creativity. And I'm wondering how we could put that, rather than say, we're doing our project, we found our funding, or we haven't found the funding. If collectively we could work as a network, we would be more powerful. So that's something I just wanted to bring to the table.
May I jump in?
Yeah.
I can't hold myself, because Peter, what you're saying is exactly what we want to make happen in a new program. I think some people might know, because we've discussed this idea behind the scenes. So we don't have much time. Let me just share a very short summary. The Global Challenge Program, we envision that it's going to be a biennale, so it's not going to be a one-year program. To extend it to 2 years, it allows us more time to develop partnerships, and we want to focus on real-life connections. Online meetings are great because it allows us to meet each other from different corners of the world. But in terms of real collaboration, we are still all busy with our own projects in our own location. From our network, I think, Peter, your idea is interesting, but it's to realize that we need to make sure that people can really meet each other instead of, trying to connect this team with that team at different continents. So what I'm trying to do now is to make sure that there are people in our network, such as Jan. You're traveling a lot. There are many ambassadors in our network already have some kind of itineraries about the, they are going to move around in the coming 1 or 2 years, and Carly as well. So we're going to kind of map ambassadors in our network, their itineraries with projects that potentially they can really meet and collaborate. So for sure, encouraging and motivating more real life meetings partnerships and connections. It's really our goal for the next Global Challenge program. And I also want to quickly get back to the point I think Cynthia raised or Nicholas. Anyway, I think there's a great potential for joint funding. So if you only look at your own project, it might be small scale. I want to point out that recently we have an interesting inquiry from Morocco, from a local association. They're looking for partners. We hear the story from Martina. They're busy in Morocco. They have these associations, they share similar approaches and similar scale of projects. There's a potential for them to apply for joint funding. And I think that's the way to go. Yeah, I think that's more or less what I want to.
On that note, because we also spoke in July, and maybe we do need to have a more specific call about this, but let's say, again, just being direct and talking with examples because it's easier to get this message through. Let's say architecture and development wanted to do something around empowering communities through bamboo built environments. And we took a project in Indonesia, a project in Peru, a project in Nicaragua, and other projects in the AD portfolio. All of those together might need $100,000 of funding, which is a much larger amount. I mean, for something like that, I am also available to go knock on doors and support with corporate fundraising, because that's a ticket size that, you know, certain organizations will be more willing to fund. There's a broader program behind it. But I guess it's about just putting this together and understanding what's the best way for us to go to market together. And to Peter's point, what does Peter know that I need? What do I know that he needs? What does Nafeel know that maybe another organization needs? But, you know, how do we formalize this and make it effective? Because we're all on the different sides of the world. I'm in Milan now, I'll be in Nicaragua next week.
Nicholas, I think there's a very interesting point, because maybe one of the things that we can do is that we don't have a lot of funding, but we have institutional support. We have universities. And I'm wondering, many of the projects that we've seen today, we could easily gather, you know, students, 20, 30, 40 students to participate and build these projects. So I think we have different sets of skills, but different sets of also capacities. And I'm wondering if in a way AD can map these things, because I can't bring support in terms of financial, but I can bring interest in terms of, you know, I could do a workshop over the summer and we could come to Nicaragua. So there's different ways of helping each other, which are, of course, funding is essential, but profile and getting students interacted, because I'm within a university, it's very different.
Yeah, no, and that's a good point. And Changfang, like, if I had known this thing about Peter again 6 months ago, we're doing a call out for built environment students to come to Nicaragua to help us build. But I didn't know, and like, I think we should be as direct as possible and even transactional in saying, what do I need and what can I give? It could almost be as simple, like really straight up, just like as if this were a little marketplace. I can be like, I need this, this, and that, and I'm willing to give this, this, and that. And it's like a Tinder, right? And we just match each other and help each other out.
Sure. And I also want to emphasize that we are an organization to facilitate collaboration, exactly like what Peter said. We can help each other. We are not here for your fundraising efforts. We want to facilitate that, but there are other things we can support through our network of all kinds of, you know, passionate individuals. And we are trying to connect to more companies and institutions. The last thing I want to say is that I pre-announced this symposium at University of Sheffield. So indeed, there will be more institutional support, not directly for funding, but you would get the opportunity to, you know, to engage more students or engage many more attentions. And one more point that I want to say, somebody mentioned that AD can help you guys to sell your projects. We have a small campaign team, and we've been working to promote your project. But the feedback from our team is that we are working hard to promote your project. You also have to share your content with us. And so far, as we build this website that you can document your project process and you can keep sharing us your updates so we can do the marketing for you, but we didn't receive enough content from you. We know that you're busy on the ground, but in fact, if you want to appeal to more potential partners, you want to raise more awareness online, you cannot skip this part of work. So please, even after this meeting today, we are still waiting here to receive your updates, because this month we are going to celebrate an anniversary of architecture and development. We're going to build a momentum for this wrapping up of the Global Challenge program. So together we can raise more awareness, we can build that momentum, but we need you to participate in this.
If there's like one more thing I could say about this idea, I mean, Peter started this saying that we can connect with universities. I think it's a good thing. I'm very sort of proactive when it comes to these things. I'm really like approaching universities and look at like departments, you know, faculties within universities that I can approach, people that I know. There's a good network there as well. And there is a big, there's something really missing at least I can tell it's here in the UK where I'm based, but also in Germany where I'm from, is this idea of like design build, right? Like going out there and getting involved. And, you know, I mean, I know there are architecture students out there in my home country that had never used a hammer in their life, right? So it's actually quite frightening, right? To let these people then actually become part of the building industry. And so that's something that I'm trying to throw at them and say, listen, you know, I have these projects and we could do something. We could do something in small at the university if they have some sort of small field or small area where something could be built, but it could also become something connected to a community project, right? Like, and yes, I mean, if there would be a way of like monitoring who are these universities that are interested in, because here in the UK, nobody's doing anything like that, right? And I'm like approaching them and say, hey, we don't have the space. You know how universities are sometimes like fit into like, you know, cities. There is no open area in front, behind. It's old buildings. They don't have any space where they can really do things, right? So I think that would be a great idea. And I have no idea what you were saying about Sheffield. There's something going on in Sheffield, Chanfang?
Yes, this is a great opportunity because we plan it as an annual symposium. So from now on, we will extend the stage first to Sheffield, to University of Sheffield. And as you said, Jan, in fact, I think in different universities of the world, there are more and more like-minded people who want to bring their students to real life construction. It's not anymore just, you know, just sitting inside the buildings and talking about theories.
Well, one more thing I wanted to add to this is like, they also have money issues though. That's also sometimes, you know, you really talk to them over a period. I mean, I had this experience where I talked to them, like to one specific university, there was another one over a period of 9 months, and I agreed with them an amount, right? And they had 9 months to fundraise. And in the end, they gave me a plastic bag with coins. That's like, wow. Okay. Thank you very much. At another university, they were not able to actually provide the money in time. I got the money 6 months after the project was completed. So, you know,
it's very interesting now as we talk about the scale today. If you really work as an individual standing alone project, it's very hard. I heard similar story from Laura, also from our network. when she did her graduation project in Kenya, she received also very poor funding support from her university, very, very poor. But as a project, it's hard. As we kind of concluded that if we can unite, you know, this group of projects dealing with bigger issues, you know, rural-urban migrations, or it's about climate change in rural areas, rural communities, building with locally sourced materials. I mean, there are different, perhaps we have to create a certain scale, create certain themes to kind of group projects together and to get kind of joint funding.
I wonder on that point if because I think the very powerful message that every project has is social engagement, and I wonder whether AD can create narratives that can connect us, because I think through narratives people understand projects in a different way. I think if you just look at the mission and the vision of the project, they kind of stand alone, but narratives form something that I think universities are going to be very interested in the future, which is the social impact of every project. And I think that's the power that your organization have, is that you can write about us in ways that we don't write about ourselves. And that creates mystery, that creates engagement, that creates a different way of looking at who we are.
Like it, yes. I
agree.
Yes, we was just want to say two things. In our case, it was really difficult to get some income to dedicate a lot of time to the project, because we have to be doing more projects to generate income, because we are a really small organization. But for example, we think maybe at the beginning of the accelerator program, it can be a work plan with advisors done, and maybe a really small fund, not necessarily to build the project, but to support the people that is behind the project, to have weekly meetings, to maybe do a promotional video, and all the things that need to be done to start reaching a bigger fundings. And also maybe generate a document of list of funding competitions or more institutions with dates and plans, and maybe to share this information with. I think AD did it in a list, but maybe for another applying to funds, and maybe that can help all the organizations too.
But could that become sort of like an open document that we all would be able to? I mean, I have lists of universities, people to contact, people not to contact. You know, I have people who showed interest. I have people who never, you know. No, actually, I have that, right? I mean, I'm really persistent when it comes to these things. I'm really annoying, and you know, at some point, you know your people, no? You know the people who are not replying, or you know the people who actually reply in a rude way, but I also know the people who are really interested. So, and this is probably the similar thing for when it comes to like, you know, charities or NGOs that might provide small funds, and also maybe, you know, awards or, you know, competition that might provide little funds as well. So if something like that could be like an open document where people, maybe based on continents, maybe based on education, small companies, I don't know, whatever, foundations, somehow, I think that would be really useful for everyone.
Yeah,
I think
this.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm just wondering, this is kind of a forum idea that also came up many times in our group discussions. I just want to drop two things, because this year we try Slack. So Slack is in a way a kind of community co-working online space for co-working, you know, for people like us who want to share some ideas and collaborate. I don't find it working really well between us. It didn't get really a lot of interactions. I'm not sure if Slack is the right place. And the second point is that we are very aware of building up a knowledge repository on AD. There are plenty of experiences that we are trying to collect. That's why we are recording a session right now. Yang, for example, if you can write just a post, very informal, we don't need good articles, but this kind of know-how or resources, what are the places you can access for funding? If people can start share these kind of stories with us, we are creating a knowledge repository. It's going to be a new section on our website where you can find the key learnings from the sessions we've had, but people need to help also share this content with us.
But I think it's more, it needs to be more bundled. Sorry that I'm interrupting you. I think it needs to be more bundled. It needs to be more sort of, organized in the way that you have a list of things, and you maybe, you're looking for a country, let's say Peru or, Bangladesh, and then exactly, in Peru, we have these 4 or 5 organizations that are supporting, maybe not exactly, but at least we have a chance to get in touch with them, right? And, Paula and Daniel, you might have these names already, I have some people from Peru that I could be contacting and ask them as well, like some alumni from, Base Habitat, for example, they're from, Peru, or from Chile as well. So, then for each country, we sort of get an idea. I mean, I have organizations in Myanmar and Thailand, civil organizations that are supporting smaller projects like this. And I think we would be able, through the network, to achieve a pretty extensive list.
Oh,
a forum gets lost, it immediately,
exactly,
it's like, it's like in a chat,
Yeah.
If 3 people send something in a chat, everything that is above what you can just read is gone.
Okay, but Yang, let's have a chat. And as we conclude, we are going to spend more time in establishing face-to-face connections. That also helps, Imagine a forum like Slack online. It just didn't work so well. But let's have I think we need to do a proper mapping of people like you who are seriously interested, who know these are great contacts. Okay, in Peru, immediately we can connect this person maybe to Paula and Daniel already. So that's the next, the upcoming year, we are going to do more of these real connections in real life. And we cannot start at a kind of online global scale. It's just not possible. It really helps if we have established first these person-to-person connections. Do we still have time? So last comment from Sarah, maybe.
Yes, thank you. It was great listening to all of you guys. I mean, it has been very inspirational, and I took lots of notes, so that's been great. But I would like, yes, I'm seconding everything you're saying, but also I would like to say that architecture and development at the end of the day is a network organization, and this is the strength of, the organization. So unlike other more traditional or established organizations out there, it's true, we do not provide direct funding. It's true that the global challenge is not other competitions where you are joining indeed to win a big prize or anything, but you are joining for the richness to join this network of architecture and development. So yes, we would like very much for you to also to own this network and to become more proactive indeed in joining us and in building this network and in building our capacity collectively together. That would really be a game changer, I would say. So yes, Jan, please reach out to us, share your resources with us. We will definitely be mapping and trying to find where everyone is based and connecting people. But we cannot do that solely on our side alone. We would like to have a little bit also more eco when we are sending requests and when we are asking for people to, for instance, in the beginning when you are are joining the Global Challenge to share where you are, to share updates. We do all of that, not just to get content that we can publish, but especially and first and foremost to be able to connect people and to see where everyone is standing and where are your needs and how we can, you know, move forward together. So this is very important, and I am very happy actually to hear you know, everyone kind of expressing the same idea here as well. This means that we are all trying to do the right thing for, and that's and it's great to hear your feedback about that. Yeah, so one last thing I would like, I mean, everything I saw in the presentations, I mean, it was really inspirational and great. Please use that again to just share that on the website directly, to put to update the updates section there. It would be really grateful for your online visibility and also to help us indeed to widen our reach also when we are, you know, trying to communicate about the projects. So that's yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Sarah. Yeah, that was amazing. I'm processing all of this information, and yeah, everything that was shared and also the ideas that were presented, I think are really aligned to what Changfeng mentioned would potentially be kind of shaping the future of AD. So I think that's a really good sign that what we're talking about right now relates directly to what's been happening in the kind of on the management side and the visionary side of future AD accelerators. So I have a really good feeling about this. And I think there were some really valuable points that will be taken away as far as lessons learned and ways that we can improve the program and future global challenges and future networking opportunities. So yeah, so stay tuned on that. And yeah, I guess I mean, Changfeng, if you want to add anything else, I would love to just say that this has been an absolute honor to observe the process of the accelerator and to see all of these projects evolve as they have. I'm so inspired, and I'm just really taking this away and feeling very motivated and excited for the future. So well done, everyone. I'm just so proud.
Well, I have no words anymore. I think Sarah, Carly, you really made a fantastic final notes. And we've taken really quite some time from everybody. So I think it's a great moment that we, yeah, say goodbye. Not an ending, but a new beginning.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, everyone, for the time. It was a pleasure seeing everyone. Yes. Enjoy the rest of your day or night or morning, whatever time it is in your world.
Thank you very much.
Remember to update. Remember to update, everybody. We're still here for you.
Yes. Keep them coming.
Take care.
Thank you all.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care.